This is my neighbor and he's part of my live audience, and my friend who is helping me control the camera is also here. The topic of test anxiety is a very important topic, as it unfortunately affects a numerous amount of students' educational success. The problem with test anxiety is that students say they have never had any form of it, but truly knowing certain symptoms and actions can show that majority of students, no matter what education they're enrolled in, experience some sort of it. An extreme amount of students, no matter what level of education they are enrolled in, experience some sort of test anxiety. They can be diminished by the help of understanding what test anxiety is and strategies to help the issue. The first point I will talk about is what test anxiety actually is. Many people are uneducated on the topic of test anxiety and don't know the proper explanation of the situation. According to the March 2012 issue of Kapan magazine, test anxiety is when students encounter extreme levels of stress, nervousness, and apprehension during testing that drastically hinders their ability to perform well and negatively affects their social, emotional, and behavioral development and feelings about themselves and especially school. The problem with people not understanding test anxiety is that people don't know what symptoms and actions to look for when talking about the topic. The three types of symptoms that are associated with test anxiety are physical, behavioral, and affective symptoms. I'm going to describe those three symptoms to you, and all the information is provided to us by the 2011 Council for Exceptional Children. First, physical symptoms. Excessive perspiration or sweaty palms can occur. Headache or stomach ache. Shaking body parts as you get the test when you start to feel nervous. Rapid heartbeat can occur. Muscle tension, and especially difficulty sleeping and eating the day before the test is the most common time that happens. Behavioral issues. Off-task behaviors like inappropriate comments, pacing, fidgeting, and sometimes even crying. Asking a lot of unnecessary questions before the test, maybe to delay the test, maybe to get more information out of the teacher. Feeling overwhelmed during the test, which most of the time leads to students cheating on tests, which is very common. And the last is students faking illness and not showing up the day of the test, showing that they're not that confident. And last, affective symptoms. Making negative self-statements. Having pessimistic expectations, such as, I'm going to fail this test. Being unmotivated, or making negative comparisons to others, such as, I'm not as smart as them, that's why I won't do well. Making excuses for poor test performance, such as, I don't do well on tests because I'm the only one that suffers from test anxiety. Those are all the main points and symptoms that come along with test anxiety. And now I'm going to discuss the most important problem, what to do to overcome test anxiety. First, things to be done before the test. Review class material as a regular homework assignment. Always review the notes that you took that day in class. Read introductions and headlines in the textbook to see how all the information correlates to one another. Reread old tests and assignments. That's one of the best ways to get ready for a big test. You know what types of questions the teacher likes to ask and the information that's going to be on the test. Have someone quiz you while you're doing another task, such as cleaning. And I used to have people ask me questions when I was outside shooting baskets. Once you know the test date, figure out what topics will be on the test, how much time you'll have to complete the test, what percentage of the test is your overall grade, and what can you use during the test, such as a calculator. Sometimes we have open book tests, and sometimes teachers let you make up your own cheat sheet. Take practice tests. That's one of the best ways to review your material and know what's going to be on the test. Make a review sheet and put in your own words so you truly understand all the information. What to do the day of the test. Get to the test with plenty of time. Start reviewing your notes. Don't talk to other students because that could unmotivate you and they could make negative comments just to make you more nervous. Make sure you're prepared with everything. Pen, pencil, calculator, cheat sheet. Sometimes if you're allowed to use your book, always have that handy. What to do during the test. Look over the test. Read the directions. Write down any formulas or anything you might need to know to answer questions that you could forget after you start getting into the test. Start with the easiest questions first. Those will take you the least amount of time and save you a lot of time at the end for the harder questions. Focus on the test. Don't think about what's going to happen if you don't do well or you fail. Just have a positive mind that you're going to do well. If you don't know an answer, circle it and come back to it. I find that if you spend too much time on a question, you truly won't have enough time to finish the test. If you feel anxious, take a minute and think about what you need to do well and all the things that help you succeed. For essays, organize your thoughts in a brief outline. Always start with a topic sentence and then fill in your main points after. Those are the most important steps needed to overcome test anxiety. And those are also the most students don't know what to do. That's the problem with test anxiety. Throughout my research and speech, my goal was to inform students about the importance of understanding what test anxiety is and what to do to help get rid of the problem. So I'm going to quickly review my main points. 1, what is test anxiety and the symptoms that come along with it? And 2, what are the most important strategies to help relieve the issue? Numerous students, definitely including myself, have suffered from some sort of test anxiety. Some students' issues are so acute, they say that they have never had a problem. And some students are so enormous, they ultimately can't pass their class. I suggest that anyone in any level of education research this topic a lot more seriously. Even for the kids and adults that don't experience test anxiety, knowing the certain procedures that I described in my speech can make test day a lot easier for everyone.